Inspired by sound.
Hello, just a quick fire video today, just maybe out of interest for some. This is my template that I use for Jamulus and also sometimes for gigs. I built it during lockdown for Jamulus and I've used it on a couple of gigs since then, and it's just grown bigger and bigger. So I thought I'd take you through it, just maybe if someone's curious. So the first thing is a track stack. It's piano and strings, Hammersmith Free from Soniccouture and Project Sam Orchestral Essentials 1. Lovely thing this, because the strings are controlled with the mod. Because the strings are controlled with the mod wheel, it means that the strings will not play very loudly, even if I play the piano loudly. I can dial the strings up with the mod wheel like this, but the piano then I can play softly like this. Or, of course, I could play the piano and strings loudly together just by leaving the mod wheel where it is, which is just about halfway. But where this comes into its own is if I want to do a swell, for example. Or at the end of a song. Very cool. The next piano is a custom preset I made from in Pianotech. Made from one of the Steinway D Jazz presets. The next is a custom Ravenscroft preset that I made using UVI Ravenscroft 275. VI Labs, sorry. So why so many pianos? Well, the first one is obvious, of course. Having a strings and thing is great for piano intros. We've talked about that. The next one is something I use for a couple of tracks that I wrote, particularly the Perpetual Question, like this. It also works on another track I wrote called Fruit Juice. I don't know why it's called Fruit Juice, but I was in the save dialogue and I was like, I need a title. And it's a really quick track. It's quite energetic like this. And yes, Ravenscroft does work in this case too, but it's a totally different sound. And I also find that sometimes this alt TPQ doesn't cut through as much as this. And when you've got bass and drums and guitars under you, sometimes you need a piano to cut through more. So different things for different reasons. And I'd just rather have too many than too few. Now, Rhodes 1 is labelled in the track, is actually currently not. It's Keyscape piano, because sometimes I like to change the Keyscape piano out for this. The Keyscape Rhodes that I normally have out for this Keyscape piano, which is, of course, the Yamaha C7. So 4 pianos so far. And that is because recently we came up with a new tune, which I don't think is labelled yet. And I've been writing all these tunes on Jamulus with a bunch of people. And it has this lovely kind of... And if I do that on the other pianos, it just will be different. Let me play you the actual riff that it is supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be, how's it supposed to be? It starts in a strange way and ends in a strange way, but there we go. So if I do that on this piano, which is Ravenscroft, different. Pianotech. Totally different. And on the strings piano, which will just be totally wrong for this feel. Oh, don't do that. This is more for ballady stuff, not that. So Keyscape piano really comes into its own. Like that. I don't know what it is. It's got a feel that some of the others just don't. And this is what I think sometimes non-musicians don't quite get. They're like, why do you have 15.5 different pianos? Why do you have 7 Rhodes? Why do you have 800 drum kits? And it's because each and every one of them has a part to play. And it's just so interesting. So yeah, Rhodes number 2, which kind of right now is Rhodes 1, is from Roland Cloud, Zonology, or the SRX Rhodes board, if you will. But I'm running it inside Zonology with a reverb, M-verb, and it's this lovely auto panning patch. And it's one of those things that I kind of don't like about it, but I kind of have to deal with it because it's just the sound is so good. Notice each note is independently panning. Kind of bugs me. Rich Rhodes sounds. It's such a rich Rhodes sound, so I'm kind of over it. Next is a Rhodes from, who is this from? Acoustic Samples, yes, and it's called V-Times MK1. So totally different sound. If I drop down the octave, it has a lovely bark down here, so you can kind of do things like a. And if I do that on the other 2 Rhodes, I'll do it on the second one. It's a different kind of thing. And the first Rhodes, no, that's Keyscape, can't do that. Right, the last Rhodes on my list is, of course, one of my all-time favorites, Soniccouture's Canterbury Suitcase. A lovely feel on this. And if you notice, the auto panner is actually, every note is tied with the other notes. So if I do a strummed chord, it is exactly where it should be. This is a slightly customized preset. It's the Natural EP1 that I've slightly modified for this sound, and this is saved in the template as is. And with this Rhodes, I like to do a tune that we wrote called We Don't Know. And again, this is one of those working on a thing and, oh, look, we need a title for something, so why not just call it a thing? So between myself and the bass player Alf on Jamulus, we're like, all right, have a tune, idea. And I just started one day doing this thing on the intro of the tune. And it just stuck. And so this Rhodes is perfect for that. And again, it's just multiple things for different things. I use different Rhodes for a lot of the different tunes that we write. I'll do it on the others as well, that intro. Notice there's no reverb on that Rhodes, so it kind of doesn't work in the same way if I do it on this one before. See, that does kind of work, and there's a lot of bark on this Rhodes. So that's possible, but just it is in its default state right here. It's just perfect. All right. Now, we have this warm organ, which is from Arturia. Well, pick your poison. It's either Analog Lab V, which is where I initially got it, but then recently I treated myself to the V Collection 9, so it's from their B3 emulation. And this is a customized Shirley's preset. The preset's called Shirley, or Shirley's, I forget which, and I've tweaked it a bit to suit my needs. And I've also taken away the option to cheat, by which Arturia allow you to cheat by having the sustain pedal do sustains. I don't. I copy the Logic organ mentality here, so my sustain pedal actually spins up and down the rotor when I put my foot down. And if I lift my foot up, back down, slows it back down. And I've got my left foot doing expression pedal. So volume, of course, since a real B3 has no velocity sensitivity. So expression foot, and rotor foot. And knob number 1 on the Complete Control keyboard here is kind of like a macro. It's called brightness, I believe. And it just opens up the organ hugely, and I love it. Much fun can be had with that. Next is a synth, which is an Omnisphere preset. I can't remember what it's called. Can I take? What are you called? Sub 37 vintage sync lead, and then I've got a guitar rig preset on top of that, which is called Phased Rhythms. And if I take away the guitar rig, then the original sound is that. They're both really cool in either configuration, but yeah. So that's that. Then we have the first of 3 different drum kits, 2 Addictive and 1 Soniccouture Sun Drums. Custom kit here. Custom kit that I made from the Black Velvet. It's based on the clean room kit, but it's a bit of difference here. I kind of tidied up a bit of the bass drums, made it more punchy. And this has one of the best ride cymbals, I think, in the history of ride cymbals. I just love the ride cymbal on this kit so much. It's so good. So stuff like that. Next, we have a jazz kit, which I don't think I modified too much. I did beef up the bass drum slightly, so I can cut through the mix a bit, because sometimes when you have a heavy thing going on Jamulus, bass can be quite hard. So we have it's good for swing. That, and then we have a custom Sun Drums kit that I made by modifying a bunch of stuff, and I don't even remember what. But yeah, this kit is great for sort of funk and fusion and stuff like that. And I've got it in the Addictive Drums layout, which is my preferred layout. Love this layout. And there's a reverb on it from Mverb, which is a free reverb plugin. Yeah, so this is a bit of that. Nice thing about this is it's so easy to customize directly from the keyboard. So if I want to make changes, I can. We can do this right now, for example. Let's go onto the kick page and change this kit out for a out from a Gretsch 20 damp kick to an O kick. And I can't remember what the O stands for, but it's more open. Back. Somewhere else entirely. So this is a 24 damped, 24 inches. Yeah, much fun to be had with that. And that's the end of it. Well, there's actually another track underneath it. For those of you who can see, there's a piano track, which is actually my piano with mics under it, but it's muted because I only use it when I need it. And if it was open all the time, you'd be hearing a lot of noise. There, you can hear the noise across the room now, coming through the other mics. So I leave that muted and only bring it on when I need it. So yeah, this video actually ended up going a lot longer than I expected. I don't know, I thought I could have gotten through this in 60 seconds, but I didn't. So there we have it. A bit of this and a bit of that. Thanks for watching.